this was a very difficult year. It was not easy, as you have already alluded. There have been a lot of challenges. We've also seen the rating agencies also downgrading us. We have also seen some of the decisions made at the political level, especially in relation to reshuffling, affecting the economy negatively. We've seen some interest from foreign investors coming to our country, and we've also seen some of them that are already here, like Ford, committing that they're going to expand and build the Ranger from here, and they are putting 3 billion rands. We've seen BMW as well, saying they will build the new, I think, X3 here. And in other sectors as well, we have received quite a few interests from different foreign direct investors, despite these difficult challenges that we are facing as a country. And we've also seen the rent being volatile and not being stable. We've seen commodity prices as well not being stable, and this has also had a negative impact. But there's also been good news, like sectors like agriculture improving significantly, and that is good because we know food security is one of the biggest challenges that is facing us, and we also want to make sure that we don't just secure food for the poor, but we also facilitate the integration of our small medium enterprises into the mainstream economic activities, especially in that sector, amongst others.
Now, the Township Revitalization Program, this is your baby. Every time you come up, people know that you are going to talk about the Township Revitalization. How has that program fared under these very difficult circumstances that you mentioned, that both you and I know, and the people at home know, that this indeed has been a very difficult year?
I think I've seen some study which says the township entrepreneurs are some of the optimistic people about the commitment of government to dealing with the plight. And that is because since 2014 we have deliberately raised the profile around township economy, but we have also ensured that we mainstream a township economy, and it's not just a business of the Department of Economic Development, but it's the business of the provincial government, it's the business of national and local government, and it also becomes the business of the private sector. And we are happy because there's a lot of interest that has been coming from the private sector. Firstly, as the provincial government, when we came in 2014, we were spending just above 600 million on our procurement spend on township enterprises. As I speak to you now, we're spending about 7 billion rands. That shows the commitment with which we value this program, and we want to see it succeeding. When we came into office in 2014, we had just under 2,000, I think, township-based entrepreneurs on our database. We have about 7,000 now, because we had to go out through our Kondisi Shishinilako campaign to find those entrepreneurs, because our officials were saying we are not able to do business with township businesses because we can't find them. And we said, let's initiate the program, Kondisi Shishinilako, and we've gone to all the different parts of our province, about 68, if I'm not mistaken, townships, where we interacted with entrepreneurs, and we showed them the benefits of registering on our database, helping them to comply with tax issues, with VAT issues, even to get on our database. But we have now gotten to a point where we set the target that by 2019, at least 30% of our procurement spent as the provincial government must go towards township.
Only 30%?
It's a minimum. It's a minimum. Remember, we can't say we won't do business with other people. We're only doing business with township enterprises only. So we are just saying a minimum at least. If we are able to reach 70-80%, it's well and good. In fact, what we want is, our worry now is to build sustainable businesses, because this 7 billion I'm talking about, unfortunately, is not circulating among the townships. It leaves the townships because they don't have productive capacity. They are not able to sustain themselves. So once they get to a level where they are able to sustain themselves and they don't just depend on government, you will easily get people being integrated into the mainstream, which is the main objective, so that we don't try and run a parallel economy, because it's not going to survive on its own. It must be integrated into the mainstream.
I'm curious about the kind of entrepreneurs we are attracting or we are seeing coming out of the townships. Are we seeing the kind of entrepreneurs that are establishing businesses because there are no jobs and they have no other choice? Or are we seeing the kind of entrepreneurs that are trying to be innovative and come up with different problems to, or rather different programs to solve problems that South Africa faces? What kind of entrepreneurs have you seen that we are attracting or bringing out into the country?
The township entrepreneurs and SMMEs are not homogeneous. They've got different products, they've got different attitudes, they've got different needs, they've got different problems. Others have financial problems, others have problems of accessing markets, others want space to operate. And of course, there are those who are starting businesses because they are unemployed and they have nothing else to do, and they are not necessarily entrepreneurial. And you can't punish them. You need to try and get them into a program that can help them. And then there are those who are entrepreneurial, who have left work. Some of them are qualified, they have degrees, they've got masters, and they are clear that they want to run their businesses. They want specific help from government. In most cases, it's funding. That's a big problem. They want access to markets. Some of them want off-take agreements. I mean, people have been coming to us, especially in the health and pharmaceutical space, saying we want to start manufacturing syringes. We want to start manufacturing all different products that are needed by the Department of Health. For instance, there are a few projects that we are already financing of entrepreneurs who are already owning bakeries, for instance. Entrepreneurs who are manufacturing bricks, who are manufacturing doors, windows. So we've got a lot of entrepreneurs in the townships who are committed, who are inspired, who have ideas, and all they need is exposure and a conducive environment, which is what we are striving to do. And of course, we've got those that are unemployed. But we want to work with all of them, and of course, give more emphasis and support to these ones who are entrepreneurial, because if they succeed, it means they help us to deal with issues of unemployment, of poverty, and inequality in our society.
I want to hone in about the other initiatives that your department looks at, which is agriculture, and we also saw the outbreak of the avian flu this year, which impacted on a number of farms, particularly in the East Rand. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing in that agricultural space within Gauteng.
Well, the avian flu, fortunately, we were able to contain it in the province. It didn't affect a lot of farms, but there was a huge loss. And there's a process at the national level to reimburse those that are affected, because there's a law that makes provision for that. It was unfortunate. In the agricultural space, as you know, that Gauteng is not big. We don't have a huge tracts of land, and therefore we are not big on primary agriculture. We are big on agro-processing, because more than 50% of products are processed here in the province. But we have a lot of farmers on the outskirts of the province who are engaged in primary agriculture. So we're helping them with a whole range of things. Firstly, they need boreholes, they need fencing, they need feed for their livestock, they need fertilizers, and we've been providing those through our farmer support program. But on the agro-processing side, we are also working with both big and small companies to help them with machinery, help them to acquire land, help them with funding to get them to be able to take this agro-processing to the next level.
If you could just firstly tell me a little bit about, you wanted to establish a township stock exchange.
Yes.
How that is going, and while you're doing that, give me your outlook for 2018 and what you envisage 2018 to be like economic-wise, Gauteng. What kind of programs do you think that are going to help the Gauteng economy to grow?
The Township Stock Exchange, it's a very, I think, revolutionary thing, program which will help us to deal with the challenges that are facing our small enterprises when it comes to funding. We have started a process, and there's been about 2 companies that were, I think is one of them is Safe, another is 4AX, that are being given licenses for alternative stock exchanges, and we've been talking to them, looking at how do we use that platform to integrate our township entrepreneurs. When we're talking about this initiative, we were basically saying, how do we create an alternate, a cheaper and affordable stock exchange platform for township enterprises. So we are happy that we are making progress in that regard, and I'm sure next year should be better, because they are very enthusiastic about it. They have systems already. They have shown us the softwares that they have and how it will work. The second thing is, if you look at the third quarter results, it shows you that the GDP has done well. It has surpassed the expectation of National Treasury, and I think we should be able to see this growth going to the next year. And I think the ANC National Conference will also be a big indicator of how we will perform as a country next year, because there are policies that are going to be decided there, and markets will respond the way they respond, depending on what policy positions are taken there. It will also depend on who is elected there, and after being elected, what do they do to reach out to the market and to also give confidence and inspiration and hope to our people that there is political will to deal with the issues, and also act immediately and decisively against corruption, so that you start seeing people being arrested, convicted and taken to jail, or going on trial in those cases where there's instances of corruption. And that will send a positive message that we are serious about rebuilding this economy, and act decisively as well on your state-owned enterprises. We know the challenges in some of the state-owned enterprises. Immediately install a leadership where the CEOs, vacancies, CFOs, appoint people so that there is a stability. There can be a program to make sure that you take those out of a crisis. Because as Gauteng, we don't see ourselves in isolation from the country. We are part of the country, and whatever happens in the country affects us. And unfortunately, we bear the biggest burden, because we have more than 230,000 people coming to the province every year, and that requires more money for health, more money for education, more money for housing. It requires that we create more jobs. The economy must grow at a faster pace and all that. So it is in our best interest as a country that we fix all the problems that we are faced with at the national level. And I'm hopeful that the coming conference of the ANC will deal with these issues honestly, frankly, and comprehensively and decisively to make sure that we get out of the woods.